The morning sky over New York blazed with unusual colors. Most people stopped to take pictures, thinking it was a rare atmospheric phenomenon. They were wrong. At 9:47 a.m. Eastern Time, humanity's worst fears became reality. The Meridian Empire's vanguard fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel, their massive ships casting shadows over Earth's major cities. Their arrival wasn't entirely unexpected. Earth's deep space monitoring stations had detected unusual activity near Pluto days ago, but no one had anticipated an attack of this scale. Admiral Thomas stood in Earth's primary defense command, his weathered face illuminated by the emergency lighting. The massive display before him showed red dots appearing across the globe, each one representing a destroyed orbital defense station. "Status report," he commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around him. "Sir, we've lost contact with defense stations 3 through 17, reported Lieutenant Rogers, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. "Shanghai, London, and Moscow are reporting direct attacks. Civilian casualties." She paused, swallowing hard. "They're still coming in." The Admiral's jaw tightened. Humanity had known about alien life for decades, had even established trade relations with several species, but the Meridian Empire had always viewed Earth as primitive, barely worth noticing. Until now. "Get me the president," Thomas ordered, just as another explosion rocked the building. The bunker's reinforced walls held, but the lights flickered ominously. On the surface, panic gripped the cities. The Meridian ships, sleek silver behemoths stretching miles across, deployed their smaller attack craft. These dart-shaped vessels rained energy weapons down on Earth's defensive installations, systematically targeting military bases and communication centers. In orbit, the situation was even worse. Earth's space defense fleet, modest but well-maintained, engaged the enemy despite being outnumbered 10-1. Captain Miller of the EDS Defender watched as 3 of his ships were torn apart by Meridian weapons. "All ships, fall back to Formation Delta," he ordered through the secured channel. "Activate Protocol Omega." The remaining Earth vessels executed a controlled retreat, appearing to flee in disarray. The Meridian ships pursued, their commanders likely pleased with how easily Earth's defenses were crumbling. They didn't notice the subtle changes in Earth's atmosphere. Back in the command center, Admiral Thomas allowed himself a grim smile as new data streamed across his screen. "Lieutenant, patch me through to all remaining forces." "Channel open." "Sir." "All units, this is Admiral Thomas. Execute Operation Rising Shield. Authorization code: Delta 7, Echo 9. Across the globe, hidden installations hummed to life. Deep beneath the oceans, in mountain bunkers, and in classified orbital positions, humanity's real defensive capabilities began to activate. The attacking Meridian forces had fallen for humanity's greatest deception: the belief that Earth was defenseless. The president's face appeared on the main screen, her expression resolute. "Admiral, the Security Council has given unanimous approval. You have full authorization to proceed." Thomas nodded. "Understood, Madam President. And Ambassador Walker? He's already on his way to the Galactic Council. They'll be getting our message soon enough." In space, the Meridian fleet's triumphant advance suddenly halted. Their sensors detected massive energy signatures emerging from Earth's oceans and polar regions. Concrete bunkers split open, revealing advanced weapon systems that weren't supposed to exist on such a primitive world. Captain Miller watched his tactical display as hundreds of new friendly signatures appeared. "All ships, maintain current position. Let them see what humanity has been hiding." The Meridian Empire had made a crucial mistake. They had judged Earth by its visible technology, by the carefully crafted image of a young, naive species just beginning to reach for the stars. They hadn't bothered to look deeper, to study Earth's history, to understand humanity's long experience with warfare and deception. As the first wave of Earth's true defensive systems powered up, Admiral Thomas sent one final message to all forces: "Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. Show them why humanity survived every threat we've ever faced. The real battle for Earth was about to begin, and humanity was far from defenseless. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council sparkled under its crystalline dome. Nearly 300 representatives from different species filled the circular chamber, their voices creating a storm of worried whispers. News of the attack on Earth had spread quickly through the galaxy. The council chair, a tall being with silver skin, raised all four of their hands for silence. This emergency session will now begin. The first matter is the ongoing military action against Earth by the Meridian Empire. In the center of the hall, the Meridian representative stood proudly. Ambassador Reed of the Meridian Empire wore ornate armor that gleamed under the lights, his scaled face showing no hint of concern. "There is nothing to discuss," Reed announced. "Earth is a primitive world that refused our generous offer of protection. We are simply exercising our right of conquest as granted by ancient laws." The chamber erupted in heated discussion. Some species condemned the attack, while others remained suspiciously quiet. Earth had only joined the galactic community 30 years ago, and many still viewed humans as newcomers who needed to learn their place. Suddenly, the massive doors at the entrance swung open. A single human figure walked in, dressed in a simple black suit. Ambassador James Walker moved with calm purpose, his steps echoing in the now silent chamber. The other representatives watched him carefully, expecting to see fear or desperation. Instead, his face showed only quiet determination. "The representative from Earth may speak," the council chair announced, surprise evident in their tone. No one had expected Earth to still have functional faster-than-light communications, let alone send a diplomat. Walker stood at the central podium, placing a small device before him. "Honored members of the council, I come bearing news from Earth. The Meridian Empire launched what they believed would be a swift conquest of my world. They were mistaken." The Meridian ambassador laughed, the sound sharp and mocking. "Your orbital defenses fell within minutes. Your cities burn. What possible news could you bring except your surrender?" Walker pressed a button on his device. Above the podium, a hologram sprang to life, showing the space around Earth. The assembled aliens leaned forward, expecting to see scenes of destruction. Instead, they watched as hidden weapons platforms emerged from Earth's oceans and mountains. They saw the Meridian advance halt as Earth's true military force revealed itself. "What trickery is this?" Reed demanded, his scales darkening with anger. "No trickery, Ambassador. Just patience." Walker's voice remained steady. "For 30 years, Earth showed you what you expected to see. A young, naive species learning to walk among the stars. But we never stopped preparing for this day." The hologram changed, showing detailed scans of Earth's defensive systems. Many council members gasped as they recognized technology that shouldn't exist on such a primitive world. "Impossible," one representative whispered. "These designs, some of these weapons, are far beyond what you thought we could build." Walker nodded. "Humanity has a long history of preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. We studied every species that joined this council. We learned from your histories, your technologies, your mistakes." The council chair leaned forward. "Ambassador Walker, are you saying Earth deliberately deceived this council about its technological capabilities?" "Not at all, Chair. We simply didn't volunteer information that wasn't requested. The Meridian Empire saw what they wanted to see. An easy target. They should have looked closer." A new image appeared in the hologram. A Meridian warship being disabled by Earth's defenses, its weapons and engines shut down by systems that, officially, Earth shouldn't have for another century. Ambassador Reed's composure finally cracked. "This is outrageous. We demand." "You demand nothing," Walker interrupted, his voice carrying a steel edge that silenced the chamber. "But don't worry, Ambassador. I'm just getting started. Would you like to see what else humanity has been hiding?" The council members shifted uneasily in their seats. In just a few minutes, Everything they thought they knew about Earth had changed. And from Ambassador Walker's expression, they knew the real revelations were yet to come. Ambassador Walker stood calmly at the podium as the holographic display shifted again. The Galactic Council chamber remained silent, every alien representative now fully focused on the human diplomat. "Let me tell you a story," Walker began, his voice carrying easily through the vast chamber. "Long ago on Earth, there was an empire that thought it could conquer a sleeping giant. They launched a surprise attack, much like yours." He looked directly at the Meridian ambassador. They failed. The giant woke up, and when it did, the empire learned a very costly lesson about human nature. The hologram now showed live footage from Earth. Meridian ships, previously advancing confidently, found themselves trapped in complex gravitational nets that shouldn't have existed in Earth's arsenal. More importantly, their advanced shields flickered and died, disabled by frequencies that humans shouldn't have known about. "Fascinating, isn't it?" Walker continued. "How your superior shield technology can be disrupted by a simple modification of your own waste energy frequency. We discovered that weakness 20 years ago, during our first trade meeting. You were so proud of your ships, you never thought the primitives would understand their basic principles." The Meridian ambassador's scales had turned a pale gray. "This is impossible. Your species—" "Let me be clear about what my species is," Walker interrupted. "We are survivors. For thousands of years, we fought ourselves, preparing for the day we might have to fight others. Every war, every conflict taught us something. We learned to hide our strength, to plan for the worst, to be ready for anything." He pressed another button, and the hologram displayed a series of numbers and coordinates. "These are the locations of every cloaked defense platform we've installed throughout our solar system over the last 30 years. Your attack fleet triggered their activation. Right now, each of your ships is targeted by at least 3 of them." The council chair leaned forward. "Ambassador Walker, are you threatening military action against the Meridian Empire?" "Not at all, Chair. I'm simply explaining the current tactical situation." Walker's smile remained diplomatic but carried an edge. "And I haven't even mentioned the automated response systems we've hidden in every colony world the Meridian Empire claims to control." The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. The Meridian ambassador stood up, his armor clattering. "You dare to infiltrate our territory? We learned from history, Ambassador. The best defense isn't just about protecting your home. It's about ensuring no one can safely strike at you without consequences." Walker's voice hardened. "Every major military installation in your empire has one of our devices nearby. They're programmed to activate if Earth falls. You won't find them. They use your own cloaking technology, modified of course." The hologram changed again, showing detailed scans of Meridian military bases, each marked with a small red dot indicating Earth's hidden weapons. "Impossible," the Meridian ambassador whispered. "When did you? During the trade delegations you thought were so beneath your notice. While your representatives were laughing at our primitive technology, our agents were studying, planning, and preparing." Walker looked around the chamber. "Humanity has a saying: hope for the best, prepare for the worst. We hoped to join the galactic community as peaceful equals, but we prepared for the possibility that some might mistake our peaceful intentions for weakness." The council chamber had grown so quiet that the hum of the environmental systems seemed loud. Walker's next words came out barely above a whisper, but everyone heard them clearly. "The Meridian Empire has 1 hour to withdraw all forces from Earth's space. After that, we will consider it an act of continued aggression and respond accordingly." He straightened his tie. "And let me be clear, our response will not be limited to defensive actions." The council chair looked between Walker and the increasingly distressed Meridian ambassador. "And if the council votes to intervene?" Walker's smile returned, diplomatic but cold. "With all due respect, Chair, that would be unwise. Humanity has spent 30 years preparing for this moment. We don't want war, but if you force our hand—" He let the sentence hang unfinished. The message was clear. Earth would no longer play the role of the primitive newcomer. The sleeping giant had awakened, and it was far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The tension in the council chamber thickened as Ambassador Walker activated a new holographic display. This time, the image showed something that made even the most composed alien representatives shift uncomfortably in their seats. Project Guardian Shield, Walker announced, his voice echoing in the silent chamber. What you're seeing is just one of Earth's 37 defensive systems that we've kept hidden from galactic surveys. The hologram displayed a massive orbital structure, previously invisible thanks to advanced cloaking technology. As the image zoomed out, more structures appeared, forming a complex network around Earth. Impossible, whispered a representative from the technological advanced Altarian species. Those are quantum-linked shield generators. Your species shouldn't have that technology for another 3 centuries. Walker smiled. You'd be surprised what humans can achieve when properly motivated. We reversed engineered these from studying the waste fragments your ships leave in hyperspace. Quite careless, really. The Meridian ambassador, still pale-scaled from earlier revelations, found his voice. You claim to be peaceful, yet you secretly built weapons of war. No, Ambassador, Walker corrected. We built shields, not weapons. The difference is important. However, he pressed another button, and the hologram shifted again. These are weapons. The new display showed hundreds of small satellites, each bearing the distinctive Earth marking. They were scattered throughout nearby star systems, hidden in asteroid belts and planetary rings. We call them Sentinel units, Walker explained. Currently dormant, but ready to activate if needed. They're equipped with the same shield-disrupting technology that's currently giving your invasion fleet so much trouble. The council chair raised 2 of their hands. Ambassador Walker, are you saying Earth has secretly militarized neutral space? Not at all, Chair. We simply placed defensive measures in international territories, as allowed by Article 7, Section 12 of the Galactic Charter. The same article the Meridian Empire used to justify placing their own monitoring stations in these regions. Walker's smile never wavered. We read all the fine print. The hologram changed again, this time showing something unexpected. Dozens of alien ships of various designs, all bearing Earth markings. Remember those primitive species you all ignored? Walker asked. The ones not considered advanced enough for council membership. We remembered them. We traded with them. We helped them develop, and they helped us in return. The revelation sent shockwaves through the chamber. Earth had not only been hiding its own capabilities, but had been secretly allying with and uplifting other species. For 30 years, Walker continued, you all saw what you expected to see. A young species stumbling into galactic politics. You didn't notice when we established deep space communications with the Rylans, or when we helped the Proxians develop their first faster-than-light drive, or when we shared medical technology with the Ventari. The hologram now showed various alien worlds, each with subtle but significant signs of Earth's influence. Research stations, communication arrays, and defense platforms, all built to look primitive, but housing advanced technology. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, Walker explained, his voice growing softer, but no less intense. It's our ability to build connections, to learn from history, to prepare for the worst while working for the best. He turned specifically to the Meridian ambassador. Your empire saw Earth as an isolated target. You should have looked closer at who our friends are. As if on cue, the chamber's communications system activated. Reports began flowing in from across the galaxy. Ships from supposedly primitive species were moving into strategic positions. Hidden defense platforms were powering up. The balance of power was shifting before their eyes. This is what you have awakened, Walker said, his words carrying clearly through the stunned silence. Not just Earth's defenses, but a network of allies who remember what it's like to be dismissed as primitive, who remember what it's like to live in fear of stronger powers. He switched off the hologram, leaving the chamber in contemplative darkness. The question now isn't what Earth can do. The question is, what will the Meridian Empire do about the situation they've created? The council chamber remained silent as the implications sank in. Earth hadn't just been preparing for war. They had been building a coalition, hidden in plain sight, ready for this exact moment. Ambassador Walker let the silence hang in the council chamber for a moment longer before speaking again. His next words came out measured and deliberate, each one carefully chosen. "Let me tell you about a concept from Earth's history," he began. "We call it mutually assured destruction. During one of our darkest periods, it was the only thing that prevented global war." The holographic display activated once more, but this time it showed something different. Historical footage from Earth's Cold War era. Humanity learned long ago that the best way to prevent war is to make its cost unbearable for all sides. Walker's voice remained calm, but there was steel beneath his words. "When we joined the Galactic community, we brought this lesson with us." He pressed a button, and the hologram shifted to show a complex network of interconnected systems spreading throughout Meridian space. "We call this the Dead Hand Protocol," Walker explained. "Right now, there are quantum-linked devices embedded in every major Meridian military installation. They're programmed to activate if Earth falls. No override possible. No way to shut them down." The Meridian ambassador stood up, his scales now almost white with fear. "You're bluffing. Such a system would be impossible to implement without detection." Walker's smile was cold. "The same way it was impossible for us to have quantum shield technology. The same way it was impossible for us to disable your fleet's defenses." He shook his head. "You really should have paid more attention to those primitive trade delegations we sent." The hologram changed again, showing detailed schematics of the system. Several council members gasped as they recognized components of their own technology, modified and improved in ways they hadn't thought possible. "If Earth falls," Walker continued, "every Meridian military base will lose shield capabilities. Every weapons platform will shut down. Every fleet will be stranded in normal space." He paused. "And that's just the automatic response. We haven't even discussed what our allies would do." The council chair leaned forward. "Ambassador, this goes beyond defensive measures. You're describing a galaxy-wide dead man switch." "Precisely," Walker nodded. "Because humanity learned another lesson from history. The best deterrent is one that cannot be stopped once activated. Even if you destroy Earth, even if you eliminate every human in the galaxy, these systems will activate. The Meridian Empire will fall." He turned to address the entire chamber. "But that's not what we want. Humanity doesn't seek war. We seek peace. Peace through strength. Peace through preparedness. Peace through the absolute certainty that attacking Earth will result in unacceptable consequences." The hologram displayed new images, peaceful scenes from Earth, mixed with scenes of cooperation between humans and various alien species. "We've spent 30 years building something remarkable." Walker's voice softened. "Trade networks with species you ignored. Medical facilities helping worlds you abandoned. Defense systems protecting planets you deemed worthless. We've created connections you never saw, preparing for both the best and worst possibilities." He straightened his tie, a simple human gesture that somehow seemed ominous in the tense chamber. "The Meridian Empire has 45 minutes remaining to withdraw their forces. After that, we won't just activate our defensive systems." He let his gaze sweep across the chamber. "We will implement the Dead Hand Protocol. And everything we've shown you today will seem minor in comparison to what follows." The Meridian ambassador's voice shook. "The Council won't allow this threat to stand." "The Council," Walker replied calmly, "would be wise to remember that Earth's preparations weren't made just with the Meridian Empire in mind. We studied every species' weaknesses, every empire's vulnerabilities. We hoped never to use this knowledge, but we made sure to have it." He switched off the hologram one final time, leaving only his words to fill the chamber. "The choice is simple. Withdraw your forces and pursue peace, or test humanity's preparations for war. But remember, we've had 30 years to plan for this moment. How many surprises do you think we still have waiting? The chamber fell silent once more, but this time the silence carried something new. Not just fear, but understanding. Earth hadn't just been hiding its strength. It had been building a failsafe for the entire galaxy. The council chamber erupted into chaos as soon as Ambassador Walker finished speaking. Hundreds of alien representatives began talking at once, their voices mixing into a storm of different languages and tones. The Meridian ambassador stood at his podium, his once proud posture now visibly shaken. This is unprecedented. The council must vote to stop this human aggression. An ancient member of the Arcturian species, known for their 1,000-year lifespans, slowly rose from their seat. The chamber fell silent. The Arcturians rarely spoke at council meetings. I have seen this before. The Arcturian's crystalline voice echoed through the chamber. Not from humans, but the pattern is the same. A species that appears peaceful, preparing in secret, building networks and failsafes. They turned their luminescent eyes toward the Meridian ambassador. The last empire that ignored such warnings ceased to exist 10,000 years ago. More representatives began to stand, each moving to distance themselves from the Meridian Empire's actions. The political landscape was shifting before their eyes. The representative from the Centauri Confederation spoke next. Our deep space sensors have confirmed the human claims. Their defensive grid is far more extensive than anyone realized. And they paused, checking their data screens. We're detecting previously unknown energy signatures from at least 30 supposedly primitive worlds, all matching Earth-based technology. Walker remained silent, watching as the council members grappled with the new reality. His quiet confidence seemed to unnerve them more than any threat could have. The council chair raised all 4 hands for order. We must approach this situation with clarity. Ambassador Walker has presented evidence of substantial hidden capabilities, along with a clear deadline. They turned to the Meridian ambassador. Your empire's actions have brought us to this point. What is your response? The Meridian ambassador's scales shifted through several colors as he struggled to maintain composure. We require time to verify these claims. To consult with our military command. 28 minutes remaining, Walker noted calmly, checking his simple Earth wristwatch. The mundane gesture somehow made the countdown feel more ominous. A holographic message appeared in front of each council member. The representative from the Technology Assessment Committee spoke up, their voice shaking. We're receiving reports from across Meridian space. Hidden quantum sensors are activating everywhere, just as the humans claimed. The Dead Hand Protocol. It's real. The Meridian ambassador's composure finally broke completely. This is impossible. We are one of the oldest empires in the galaxy. We cannot be held hostage by. He couldn't even finish the sentence. By primitives. Walker supplied, his voice carrying just a hint of amusement. That assumption of superiority is exactly why you're in this situation. While you were laughing at our primitive technology, we were learning from everyone, even the species you conquered or ignored. Another message flashed across the chamber screens. The council chair read it aloud. The Proxian fleet has just dropped out of hyperspace near the Meridian border. They're joined by ships of 12 other previously non-spacefaring races. Walker nodded. As I said, we made friends. Good friends. Friends who remember what it's like to live under the shadow of more advanced civilizations. The chamber erupted in urgent discussions again. Representatives hurriedly contacted their governments. Alliances shifted, and new calculations were made. The galaxy's power structure was being rewritten in real time. 17 minutes remaining. Walker announced, still projecting calm authority. I suggest the Meridian Empire consider their options carefully. The withdrawal order must come from their central command, transmitted on all frequencies. Anything less will be considered an attempt at deception. The council chair looked between Walker and the Meridian ambassador, then made a decision. This emergency session will recess for 15 minutes to allow the Meridian Empire to contact their leadership. They paused, then added, I strongly suggest they choose their next actions with extreme care. As the chamber began to clear, Walker remained at his podium, standing as still and unmovable as Earth's hidden defenses. The message was clear. Humanity had planned for this moment for 30 years, and they were prepared to wait these final minutes to see if peace or war would follow. The emergency session resumed with 2 minutes remaining on Ambassador Walker's deadline. The council chamber, usually a place of measured debate and political maneuvering, held its collective breath as the Meridian ambassador approached his podium. His scales had settled into a dull gray, a sign of defeat in his species. I have received instructions from the Meridian High Command, he announced, each word seemingly painful to speak. All Meridian forces are hereby ordered to withdraw from Earth space immediately. The order is being broadcast on all frequencies. Walker checked his watch one final time, then nodded. He pressed a button on his device, and a new hologram appeared, showing Earth's space. The Meridian ships were already retreating, their once proud formation now scattered in their haste to comply. Withdrawal confirmed, Walker announced. Earth acknowledges the Meridian Empire's compliance. He paused, then added with subtle emphasis, this time. The council chamber erupted in a flurry of activity as representatives rushed to adjust to the new galactic reality. The council chair called for order, their voice cutting through the chaos. In light of today's events, this council must address several urgent matters, they announced. First, the reclassification of Earth's status in galactic affairs. Walker's expression remained neutral as the chair continued. Earth is hereby classified as a Class A defensive power with all corresponding rights and responsibilities. The chair turned to face the human ambassador directly. Additionally, we must address the matter of Earth's previously undisclosed capabilities. Of course, Walker replied smoothly. Earth is prepared to register our defensive systems as required by Council law. The non-lethal ones, at least. His slight smile sent another ripple of unease through the chamber. The Arcturian elder spoke again, their ancient voice carrying wisdom earned over centuries. Today marks a shift in the galactic order. Not since the Great Realignment have we seen such a dramatic change in power dynamics. Representatives began approaching Walker's podium, many from species that had previously dismissed Earth as insignificant. They carried treaty proposals, trade agreements, and diplomatic recognitions. Earth's status had changed from a primitive newcomer to a power that couldn't be ignored. The council chair made one final announcement. By emergency vote, the council has added a new protocol to our diplomatic training programs. The Earth Doctrine, as it will be known, will be required study for all species joining the galactic community. Walker raised an eyebrow. The Earth Doctrine. Yes, the chair explained. A reminder that appearances can be deceiving, that preparation does not equal aggression, and that underestimating a species based on their apparent technology level is unwise. As the session concluded, Walker gathered his materials calmly. The Meridian ambassador approached him, scales still gray with humiliation. You deceived us, the Meridian accused quietly. No, Walker corrected. You deceived yourselves. You saw what you expected to see. Humanity simply let you maintain that illusion until it became necessary to show you the truth. Later, as Walker boarded his ship for the return journey to Earth, he received a message from the president. Well done, Ambassador, she said. The defensive network is standing down, and our allies are reporting all clear. Though I suspect we'll be very busy with diplomatic visitors for the foreseeable future. Walker smiled. Better busy with diplomats than with warships, Madam President. Though we should probably start thinking about what we'll need to reveal next time. Someone thinks Earth is an easy target. Already ahead of you, she replied. Project Phoenix is ready whenever we need it. Walker looked out at the stars as his ship prepared for the jump home. Humanity had revealed some of its cards today, but not all of them. They had learned long ago to always keep something in reserve, to prepare for the next challenge, even before the current one was resolved. As his ship entered faster than light travel, Walker reflected on how the galaxy had changed in just a few hours. Earth had emerged from its carefully crafted shell of apparent primitiveness, but they hadn't revealed everything. After all, humanity's greatest strength wasn't in the weapons they had shown, but in the ones they kept hidden. The sleeping giant was awake, and the galaxy would never be the same.